Welcome to Urban U. I'm Abby Ashola.
And I'm Ari Goldberg. This month, we're here from the Bernard and Ann Spitzer School of Architecture, right here at the City College of New York. And Abby, just what month is it?
It's Earth Month, so we'll be sharing a few things that CUNY does to stay green, like the roof pod on this campus.
Roof pod?
Yes, the roof pod. Research done on black corals and preserving eels. But first, here atop the Spitzer School of Architecture sits a solution to NYC's energy and emissions problem. It's also been a crucial tool for education and bringing the community together. Mariev Ami has this story.
The roof pod was built by students of the Spitzer School of Architecture and the Grove School of Engineering in 2011 as a net zero energy house. So it was a research project and was in Washington, D.C. at the National Mall, exhibited to 350,000 people. And it's now like a student sustainability research hub and CCNY Green's headquarters.
CCNY Green is a club here at City College. We program and maintain the roof pod and its surrounding gardens. We host about 6 events per semester, different gardening events, integrating sustainability, health, and gardening. We work with students from across the school, so people in architecture, but also students in the Grove Engineering School, students in environmental sciences. We also work with the high school on campus. Anyone who comes up here is immediately struck by how this gorgeous view and this long vista to the city and this garden at the forefront.
The roof pod has brought a lot to me. I started with the roof pod when I was in high school, actually, so it's really come full circle. I went to high school for math, science, and engineering, and that was the first year that they did gardening with the high school. And the reason I actually came to architecture was because I saw the building on my first trip, and I was like, oh, that's decided. I'm committing to CCNY. I'm now doing presentations to high school students and seeing that they're being very active or engaged in something that they've never seen before. It's inspiring.
We have our 3 beehives there. 1 died, 2 are still alive, so that's good. That's typical in winter that you have like 30% loss.
The honey event is always really fun because so many people have never seen the comb, and it has a really evocative smell when you cut off the cappings, and watch kind of all that like liquid gold drip out, and to taste it fresh. I think it's a catalyst for students to start to get immersed in the natural world that we live in and understand.
So up here you see our solar panels. We have 40 of them. That's a 10 kilowatt peak array. And we can produce on a good day in July or August about 70 kilowatt hours, which is 2.5 times as much as a typical New York household would need. We are giving it away to our school underneath us.
We were able to donate, upon the opening of the food pantry, some of the food that we were growing. We had Swiss chard and kale growing in the garden at the time, some tomatillos and tomatoes. So we worked with the development office to give a first flush harvest to the food pantry. And this year we're working for the 1,000 Pound Initiative. And so we're planting today in order to grow some more. 1,000 pounds, let's go.
Doing hands-on things and activities is really conducive to learning in general. You could have some high school and college students working in the roof pod in the garden, and they immediately will understand, oh, compost goes here. We have to like loosen up the soil so the roots can grow, and a memory starts to build, or immediately you understand the connection that you have to gardening.
For 6 years now, we are inviting alumni or interesting people who are related to architecture, sustainability, technology, to give a 3/4 of an hour talk, and then students ask questions. And very often the students end up in internships at those offices.
My involvement with CCNY Green and the roof pod and roof garden really made me aware of my love of the community that forms around spaces and how strong that community is. And especially today, people can feel very individualized or isolated from their peers, and having a space where they can come together and get their hands dirty and really start working together. I learned that this is something that's really vital to our society and something I'm super passionate about. So going forward, I hope to continue work in a programming or development role within a public garden or public space.
I think it's important for CUNY to increase systems that will spark change. I think that's important.
A professor from the New York City College of Technology is making sure students from diverse backgrounds have access to science. He recently gave them the opportunity to visit the Gulf of Mexico in search of black coral.
I'm Eliza Gonzalez, and I'm an undergraduate, and I'm also representing City University of New York, and my college is New York City College of Technology. And I just recently joined Dr. Brugler's lab to study black corals.
In late August 2019, two undergraduates from New York City College of Technology and I boarded the research vessel Manta in the northwest Gulf of Mexico and went out to the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary. I run a deep sea evolutionary biology lab here at the American Museum of Natural History. My academic mission is to change the face of science away from what I am, and that is a white male, to a field that is as diverse as the world that we live in.
I've always had a love for science. I never thought of actually focusing in an area of marine biology or anything like that, but since I was given the chance, I actually love it.
Prior to doing research at all, I didn't think that research was a viable career. There isn't much representation in my family or in my immediate community.
Our focal organism are black corals, which is largely a deep water group. And some of these organisms have been aged over 4,000 years old. Stranded, so to break it, we're using heat.
Dr. Brugler makes lab very, very fun. He's by far the best teacher that I've had.
We start off by teaching them general lab techniques, how to identify these deep sea organisms, how to extract their genetic blueprint and sequence it. So they do get that general lab experience, but then I need them to get the real experience, and that's when we send them out to the ocean.
I think the most striking part of this trip was just the fact that I was in the middle of the ocean. Just the trip overall, I was so grateful to be a part of it. You know, I learned so much.
We spent roughly 5 days at sea, and we deployed the remotely operated vehicle Yogi to go down to mesophotic depths, which are between 30 and 150 meters.
You start to go underwater, and then you see how much life and how vibrant it is under there, and you're like, wow, you know, this is truly amazing.
We have a black coral behind us. This appears to be a Tanacetopathes. It is a black coral, and black corals are so called because the skeleton is black. The tissue on top of it, the living tissue, can be any number of colors.
We bought telepresence onto this trip. It was beamed live over the internet, so it gave an opportunity for everyone and anyone to participate, and it was the first time done in a marine sanctuary.
We are actually looking to look at different species of black corals that that we can find, but we're keeping just an extra eye out for a specific species, and that is, I'm sorry, help me with the name. It's just we've seen so many.
Starts with a P.
Oh,
and ends in pathes.
Plumopathes.
There you go. Absolutely.
Black corals are very, very interesting animals. Even though they appear to be plant-like, they feed on organic matter, unlike plants.
We are also responsible for obtaining, securing, and preserving samples throughout the trip. At one point, we came across something that we weren't too sure what it was. It actually looked exactly like Welch's fruit snacks, like the purple ones. When we got to take a closer look, it was in fact a sea anemone. This is in fact a new species that we did find.
The deep sea, which is defined as any depth between 200 and 11,000 meters, makes up 65% of the Earth's surface, so it's the largest environment on Earth. To date, we've only explored 5% of that.
I definitely know research is something that's in my future, definitely. I know I'm going to pursue that, and just see where the research takes me.
I would love to help train the next generation of scientists. Then I might inspire other children who didn't know that it was a possibility to become a scientist to actually do so.
At Brooklyn College, supplying sustainable food items to faculty, students, and staff is a priority from week to week. So managing the student-led food share is no small feat. For our Who Runs It segment, I took a trip there to see how Galilea Matias gets the job done.
We have 4 cases.
On this edition of Who Runs It, meet Galilea Matias.
I am an urban sustainability student, and I am the site coordinator for the Brooklyn College Farm Share site.
As part of Brooklyn College's sustainability program, this food share allows students, faculty, and staff to sign up as shareholders. $16 a week pays for 6 to 8 veggies. And for $8 a week, participants get 2 to 4 pieces of fruit. The initiative is operated in partnership with Corbin Hill Food Project, an organization that distributes local farm fresh food items.
As a site coordinator, I make sure that all the deliveries get here, and I communicate with Corbin Hill on things that are missing or things that shareholders didn't like.
Her job doesn't end there, so we followed her around to see exactly how she manages things.
A day here starts off, I would set up the iPad and we would see everything that's supposed to arrive for today. So we see 1 case of apples, 6 cases of cabbage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 11 cases of mushrooms. I would go into the delivery station and I would count all the boxes to make sure that everything arrived.
I'm not used to lifting boxes like that.
Yeah, Galilea is really strong. I think I have been working out and that also has helped me.
Then the goods are wheeled out to the Brooklyn College cafeteria, where the food share is set up.
And then people start arriving and we check them in, and if they want to purchase additional items, they can do that. After that, whatever's left over, we consolidate as much as we can, and it gets brought over to the food pantry in the student center. Some of the Brooklyn College community, they're either homeless or there's a lot of food insecurity. So I think having this here helps alleviate those problems.
We've also been able to work with civic engagement program to offer students who have food insecurity. If they demonstrate a need, they can get free shares.
As for how shareholders feel about the food, there's been a mixed bag of reactions.
I really like running into customers and when they ask, what should I do with this? In some weeks, they're not very happy, especially around this time of year, the fruit share. We've just been getting apples and stuff, so they haven't been too happy.
If people aren't happy during the winter months, it's important that we have that conversation and we prioritize seasonality and locality. So we could be getting fruits and vegetables from across the country to fill their demand, but that's not sustainable.
All in all, Matias says working with food feels innate.
As a sustainability student, there's a lot of different sectors, and I've worked in the energy sector, the water sector. I really wanted to dive into the food sector, and I got my chance through Corbin Hill. A lot of my family, they are farmers in Mexico, so I was I think this makes the most sense.
Abby Ashola for Urban U.
They may not be as common as, say, salmon or tuna on your dinner plate, but eels are big business, and they're endangered. I visited Kingsborough Community College to find out what they're doing about it, and to visit their super cool eel lab.
I used to think of them when I saw them in the store as these watery snakes. I knew nothing about them at all, and that when we looked further into articles, nobody did anything with the American eel. And yet it's such a huge market, this fish alone is $1 billion industry. And that's when, in 2013, we started our official work using biotechnology to save the American eel.
Save the American eel. I didn't even know there was an American eel that needed saving. Indeed, though we might not see them all that often, since they prefer to keep to dark holes and muddy water, the American eel is apparently everywhere. These fish, and yes, despite their snake-like appearance, they are fish, just long ones, live in waters from Canada on down past the Gulf of Mexico. Or at least they used to be everywhere. But overfishing, among other threats, has put the American eel at great risk. But Professor Sarwar Jahangir and his team believes the answer to overfishing might be something called aquaculture.
Aquaculture is farming of fish. Like we are farming a potato, tomato in the soil, it is in water under known and controlled condition. So if we have American eel can be spawned and grown in captivity and it can be farmed, there will be a big market for American fish farmers.
That market for fish farmers is the rest of the eel-eating world. While we might not see them in grocery stores too often in the US, eels are a major food around much of the world and are very in demand. Smoked eel in Europe, longfin eels in New Zealand, grilled eel in Korea, unagi in Japan, particularly in Japan. And if we're not going to be eating eel much ourselves in the States, you can bet we can still sell them to the rest of the world.
Most of the fish that die in nature, like salmon comes to spawn on the river and they die immediately after that. Eel, same assumption is that goes from the river to the ocean and then die. But as a farmer, I want my female fish to spawn again and again and again. And that is our achievement. We are able to spawn them multiple times in the laboratory, the same one.
And that's the big breakthrough. Getting eels to spawn and survive in captivity to do it again. Eels are a tough one for farming. It can take them over 20 years to mature, and for that matter, it's hard to even know their gender before then. And on top of that, they seem to die after breeding once. So up until this point, farming eels has mostly just meant capturing a ton of young eels in the wild, then raising them until they were big enough to ship to market. And nature simply hasn't been able to keep up with market demands. But by treating the eels with hormones, what Jahangir's team has achieved may be a game changer.
We have currently 2 eels. One survived 2 spawning sessions, another one survived a single spawning session. That alone is extremely unique because several published papers in the past have never mentioned that the parental generation survived. And then over here is our prized fish. This girl, she was able to spawn twice. So the big thing here is our research has produced unique results that counters a worldwide belief about the eel.
This is, of course, far more hands-on research than at most community colleges. But at Kingsborough, students are encouraged to engage in this sort of high-level work. And that faith has been rewarded, as Jahangir's team has since been invited to present their groundbreaking research at conferences around the world, hopefully helping not only to grow an industry, but to save a species. From the Eel Laboratory at Kingsborough Community College, I'm Ari Goldberg for Urban U. Prospect Park has been like an oasis in the middle of downtown Brooklyn since 1867. But over the last couple decades, its lake waters have turned green from algae overgrowth. Andrew Falzone met with one Brooklyn College professor who's got a system for cleaning up these waters.
This is the view from a kayak on the lake at Prospect Park. While it may seem okay to drop a hook and some bait to see what you can catch, fishing is prohibited in the park, and it may be as much about protecting people as it is about conserving fish. That's because there's algae in the water. It makes the water look like green paint, and even worse, the algae is contaminating it.
When the algae grow, they release toxins. And it turns out that these particular toxins that these algae produce they hurt the liver of living organisms. And so when the dogs drink it, it's a liver toxin or a hepatotoxin, and so it can make them sick.
Dr. Jennifer Cherrier is the chair of the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences at Brooklyn College. An oceanographer by training, her latest project involves polishing water, which is the process of removing particulate and dissolving materials from the water. In this case, Dr. Cherrier's system called EcoWare is targeting phosphorus for removal.
In New York City, we have old buildings that have old lead pipes, and it's impossible to remove all the lead pipes in all the old buildings. And so in the early 90s, New York City started adding phosphorus to its drinking water supplies to ensure that lead wouldn't go into the drinking water. As more phosphorus comes in, different types of plants are growing, plants that normally wouldn't grow. So we have these blooms of plants that are growing in Prospect Park lakes and other lakes in New York City.
And that's exactly what algae are, plants. Sometimes you'll find them growing in saltwater, sometimes in fresh. Not all algae are toxic, but in this case,
Cyanobacteria, the scientific name is Microcystis. It's a blue-green algae. Some of these plants just grow, and there's a lot of them. When they grow, when they see too much phosphorus, they produce toxins, which are harmful to the fish that live there, dogs that might want to go there to swim in the water because the toxins can make them sick.
Another form of algae invading the lake because of all the phosphorus in the water is called duckweed. No, it's not toxic, but can still be dangerous because of how it looks.
A friend of mine recently told me that his dog went running towards the water and fell right in because he thought he was going to be walking on grass.
Unfortunately, it's not just canines that are fooled by duckweed. In July 2014, 2 young children ages 2 and 4 headed toward what looked like mossy green grass in the lake, but instead was duckweed. The 2-year-old drowned. The slime growing on the lake has gotten so bad that visitors routinely walk into the water without realizing, according to one boathouse security guard who spoke to the Daily News, it happens all the time. They just think it's part of the grass, the worker said. Park managers tried other solutions like skimming the algae out of the water. When they heard about Dr. Cherrier's system, they thought it might be just what they needed.
Brooklyn College came to us, and we just wanted to partner with Brooklyn College, and we thought they're here, they're local, they can do the monitoring, and we can do it as a nice research project as well, instead of buying something else.
The system is symbiotic with nature, which means it works with natural processes instead of against them or using potentially harmful chemicals. Before the drinking water, which contains the unwanted phosphorus, is sent to the lake, it gets filtered through a massive sand filter. So where will they put all that sand?
Essentially, you could put it underneath all the ball fields in Prospect Park, and people would be playing soccer on top of them, baseball on top of them, and would never know that this magic is going on underground, except for the fact that Prospect Park doesn't have to water the fields as much, and also the grass might be a little bit greener because they're always getting this phosphorus.
And the grass will continue to absorb the phosphorus because the water will be just below the surface, right near its roots.
The public won't notice anything. What they'll notice possibly is, why is this patch of grass greener than the other patch of grass? Because we don't fertilize in the park. We don't fertilize at all. So it's all, what you get. So sometimes our lawns don't look the prettiest, but in this area, they probably will look pretty.
This is the first time the EcoWare system will be installed in an urban environment, but it's been tested in labs and greenhouses. Dr. Cherrier has also used the system in Florida to control agricultural runoff and is researching its effectiveness on septic systems out on Long Island.
Before it's released, it's cleaned. It's cleaned to, 100% of the phosphorus is removed and 99% of the nitrogen is removed. And so that's a win-win situation because otherwise they would have to go to a wastewater treatment plant, and that's very expensive.
So this spring and summer, if you walk through Prospect Park and don't see any algae in the water, just remember there's all that good science going on underground. I'm Andrew Falzone for Urban U.
That's our show for this month. But before we go, we'll leave you with a performance.
It's a hip-hop MC duo named Nate and Hilla, who have a rather eccentric take on the genre. They take lofty topics like sociology or ecology, but blend, humor. Nate's actually a teacher at City College right now, teaching Latin language and Greek civilization.
For more information on any of our stories, go to tv.cuny.edu or check out our social media pages. Bye.
See you next time.
I bring my own cup, I'm always glad I brought it. I voyage with my vessel, I go with my own goblet. I travel with my chalice, I stumble with my tumbler. I come with my own mug so I don't need to bum another. I fill it up, drink it up, rinse off and reuse. Good for coffee, tea, or some freshly squeezed juice. I refuse single use, no excuses, just knowledge. Not trying to fill the land with any more garbage. I got a cup in the car, it's just par for the course. I'm married to my cup, I don't want a divorce. Place my lips upon its rim, tip it back and take a sip. Take it with me on every trip, with my mug I come equipped. How much energy goes into making this cup? Packing and stacking this cup, trashing and stashing this cup. Save cash with this cup, dash and crash with this cup. I catch secretions that are leaking from my gash with this cup.
If you have one of it, keep it and come with it. Put other stuff in it, see what can come of it. Why do you dump it? Just cause you're done with it, and then get another. I think it's redundant.
Bring your own cup, but bring your own cup. Bring your own cup, but bring your own cup.
When you're walking to the coffee shop,
bring your own cup.
When you're taking out from the restaurant,
bring your own cup.
Whether it's cold or whether it's hot, you can do with it whatever you want.
Bring your own cup, but bring your own cup.
In our goings and comings, oh so many go cupless. So we get cups and couplets from a Starbucks or Dunkin's. But when done with its function, it gets discarded. We're done with it, for those cups are like a lover we don't love and don't come with. But a cup that's just used once is just a gutless injustice, because it just doesn't give love to what the essence of cup is. So what's next? A to-go dress, disposable cufflinks? All this cup, what may indifference may just get its comeuppance. The earth is a cup, the vessel of us. Our bodies are vessels of fluid and dust. And so in a way, you are a cup, and one of these days you will be used up. And if we use too much and aren't useful enough, the earth will throw us out and fill up with new stuff.
Bring your own cup, but bring your own cup. Bring your own cup, but bring your own cup. It's not about who got what cup where or who to blame.
It's about how to share the cup with which you came.
So bring your own aim, bring your own art and love, bring your own heart and brain, and bring your own cup.